the king of comebacks in injury time, the king of kings, the true king of the UEFA Champions League. Perhaps no amount of praise is enough to describe Real Madrid at this moment. The strange DNA of Los Blancos in Europe's most prestigious arena continues to erupt at the right moment's time and again. Real Madrid spectacularly escaped defeat thanks to their mettle and the psychological strength that has made them famous. As for Bayern Munich, the German representative had a commendable performance, even exceeding expectations at Santiago Bernabeu. However, against Real Madrid, focus must be maintained even in injury time. A momentary lapse, just 1 or 2 minutes, and Bayern Munich went from winners to losers without realizing it. Anger and disappointment are evident on the faces of Bayern Munich players right now. Indeed, there were controversial situations during the match, and unfortunately, Bayern Munich was disadvantaged by the referee's decisions. For Real Madrid, the players' belief in their future path has only strengthened. This victory is proof of the strength and never-give-up spirit of a true king. Particularly Joselu, the hero of the match, although not a regular starter, showed up and did everything to help Real win whenever the team needed him. Joselu is the hero of Real Madrid. In the second leg of the Champions League semi-final of the 2023-2024 season, the 34-year-old came on and scored a double to help the home team achieve an emotional comeback. After the match, when asked about his feelings after the first goal, Joselu said, "When you play for Real Madrid and equalize, you know that everyone will try to get the ball, restart the game, and then look for the winning goal because here we always do everything to win." Talking further about Real's win against Bayern, Joselu continued, "Am I the hero? Well, I don't really know about that. All I can say for sure is that I am a very happy man. I always strive for the team." After the match, Vinicius Jr. told reporters, "This is Real Madrid. We always believe, and we did something magical because playing for this team in this stadium is incredible. This is another example of how we always believe in ourselves. No matter how difficult it is, we can overcome it. We knew we could do it. If I have to go back and defend, I will do that. No problem. I can do anything to help the team win. I am very lucky, very proud to play in this wonderful jersey. Playing for Real Madrid is a dream. I am here to help the club and these fantastic fans. Let's stay united. Let's make this club even greater together." On the bench, talking about Joselu after the match, coach Carlo Ancelotti said, "Joselu is a great reflection of the essence of this team and their thinking. He hasn't had many minutes this season, but has been very useful, scoring goals whenever needed, never losing confidence, and always thinking about the team." On the other side, Coach Thomas Tuchel could not hide his disappointment. "It's really bitter. It may take us some time to recover from this pain. We lost after doing everything we could on the field. It's hard to accept this defeat, but it's part of football. There's nothing to regret because we fought with all we had. We went out today with 4 attacking players, but they all had to leave due to injuries or not being fit to continue. Neuer's mistake is something that might not happen again for another 100 years." Timely changes helped Real Madrid achieve a spectacular comeback against Bayern Munich, and the person directly responsible for that is none other than coach Carlo Ancelotti. This is not the first time the Italian strategist has made decisions that have changed the outcome. From the beginning of the season until now, we know Real Madrid rarely has their strongest lineup. Injuries have continuously plagued their squad, but with his ability to select players and adapt to any circumstance, Ancelotti has kept Real Madrid thriving in all competitions. Ancelotti's effective substitutions showed why he is one of the greatest coaches in the history of world football. Once again, coach Carlo Ancelotti reminded people of himself with his substitution decisions at crucial moments. Compared to the first leg of the semi-final in Germany a week ago, the 64-year-old strategist made only one adjustment in the starting 11 when Dani Carvajal returned from suspension. Most of this lineup had sat out the victory against Cádiz in La Liga, a competition where Real Madrid had already secured the title. Immediately after the whistle blew, Carvajal proved why at the age of 32, he is still Real Madrid's #1 choice, His tireless offensive and defensive capabilities, along with his excellent personal skills, turned the right flank into the home team's dangerous attacking wing. However, this was not the most noteworthy decision. In the 81st minute, coach Carlo Ancelotti brought Joselu on to replace the somewhat fatigued Rodrigo, refreshing the attack as the match headed into the final minutes. It didn't take long for the Spanish striker to repay the coaching staff's trust. In the 88th minute, taking advantage of Manuel Neuer's error, number 14 quickly slotted the ball into Bayern Munich's net. The four corners of Santiago Bernabéu Stadium erupted. The match was back to square one, and Bayern fans began to worry. They fully understood how dangerous the Champions League DNA of Los Blancos is, and probably blamed the German goalkeeper a lot. Bayern fans' fears were realized when, without needing extra time, Joselu finished off the visitors in the 90th minute. After Antonio Rudiger's cross, the ball found Joselu, who once again had to just tap it into the net. After a brief delay in celebrating due to VAR, all Real Madrid players and coaching staff went wild. They couldn't believe what was happening in front of them. In that scene, only Don Carlo stood calmly as if he had foreseen this. For the Italian strategist, every change has its own significance. Today, Real Madrid's head coach chose Joselu, not Dani Ceballos or Arda Güler, and in the end, he received a sweet result. After the first leg at Allianz Arena, there was much talk about the mistakes made by central defender Kim Min-jae, and coach Thomas Tuchel's decision to bench the Korean player was deliberate. In a crucial match like this, he needed certainty and had no room for individual errors. But who could have guessed that the most trusted and reliable player for most of the match, goalkeeper Manuel Neuer, would make such a basic mistake? The error, which Tuchel assessed as something Neuer wouldn't make again in 100 years, was the cause of Real Madrid's emotional comeback at Santiago Bernabéu. Once again, individual mistakes drowned the faith and hope of Bayern. Real Madrid has officially booked their place in the Champions League final. An epic comeback against Bayern. This is the second time in the last 4 seasons that Real has done this. Until the final minutes of the match at Bernabéu, Bayern was still leading the home team 1-0 and seemed to be thinking about a ticket to the final. However, they may have forgotten that their opponent today was the king of the Champions League, the king of Europe. Just one mistake can change the entire complexion of the match. In the 88th minute, Manuel Neuer, who had played well from the start, unexpectedly mishandled a not-so-dangerous shot from Vinicius Jr., and Joselu quickly pounced to tap in the equalizer for Real Madrid. This goal shattered all of Coach Tuchel's calculations. It didn't stop there. Just 4 minutes later, Antonio Rudiger surprisingly appeared in Bayern Munich's box. The German center-back delivered a precise cross for Joselu to complete his double in the craziest fashion. Initially, the referee disallowed the goal for offside, but after VAR intervention, the goal was awarded. This goal caused Santiago Bernabéu to erupt in joy from Real Madrid fans. Real Madrid completed their comeback in just 3 minutes, thereby securing a place in the Champions League final for the second time in the last 4 seasons. Their opponent at Wembley will be another German team, Borussia Dortmund. Meanwhile, Bayern experienced their first trophyless season in 12 years. Coach Tuchel made some questionable decisions, substituting all the players who put pressure on Real Madrid and bringing in more defensive players to maintain the score. However, under immense pressure from the home team, Bayern couldn't withstand and made fatal mistakes. Their captain, Manuel Neuer, had an outstanding match until the mistake occurred. That long-range shot from Vinicius wasn't dangerous at all. With his years of experience, the German goalkeeper should have handled it much better. For Harry Kane, he continues to have another excellent season with many goals, yet the trophies still elude the English player. At the start of this season, Kane joined Bayern Munich with the hope of winning collective titles. It seemed that a big club like Bayern could help Kane end his trophy drought, but bad luck continues to haunt him. This is the 15th season in Kane's career without a single trophy. Thus, Real Madrid are once again in the final, the 6th time in the last 11 seasons. For Los Blancos, reaching the final of Europe's premier competition is always within their reach. And against a lower-rated opponent like Dortmund, fans are probably already imagining the 15th Champions League trophy arriving in the Royal Spanish team's dressing room. Of course, Dortmund is not an easy opponent at this time, with great potential in attack, but a team with a glorious tradition and experience like Real Madrid will still be favored in the final on May 31st at Wembley. True to their reputation as the kings of the Champions League, Real Madrid finished the group stage perfectly on top with 6 wins to gain maximum points. In the round of 16, Carlo Ancelotti's team was expected to have an easier time against Leipzig, yet they went through 2 intense matches and advanced with a narrow 2-1 aggregate. The real challenge came in the quarter-finals against Manchester City, the reigning Champions League champions with top form in both domestic and European competitions. Demonstrating their Champions League king status, Los Blancos endured 2 dramatic matches and needed a penalty shootout to advance. In the semi-finals, Real Madrid faced another big challenge in Bayern Munich. Despite being rated higher, the victory was not easy. Ultimately, Los Blancos succeeded and secured a place in the final with a 4-3 win on aggregate. Real Madrid's opponent in the final will be Borussia Dortmund. After topping their group, Dortmund was not highly rated for their chances to reach the Champions League final, because they were in a bracket with stronger teams like Atletico Madrid, PSG, and Barcelona. However, the German team showed their big game mentality. They excellently overcame the tough representative Atletico Madrid before defeating the formidable PSG in the semi-finals, thereby officially securing a place in this season's Champions League final. Real Madrid is just 1 match away from their 15th Champions League title, and they have a great opportunity to achieve that this season. Although their opponent in the final has been causing many surprises this season, with incredible victories over higher-rated teams like Atletico Madrid and PSG, facing the Champions League king in the final will be a very different challenge. However, the upcoming final will be very different, as the German representative will face the Champions League kings. Real Madrid's poise is unquestionable. It will be very challenging for Dortmund to create another surprise. Yet, as long as the ball hasn't rolled, surprises are still possible. Real Madrid cannot afford to be complacent. Just a bit of overconfidence, and the German representative could make the Spanish royal team pay dearly. The chances are still evenly split for both teams. Which team will show greater resilience to lift the Champions League trophy? And that wraps up the most exciting developments from the UEFA Champions League. Thank you for your attention and following. If you enjoyed the program, please give us a like, subscribe, and support for the team that made this video. For now, goodbye, and see you again.